In the Interstate 75 review, I showed you this Pico Graphics demo and told you one software change would give you this. That software change is LVGL, and I've ported it to the Interstate 75W. Built a scrolling text demo, scrolling graphics, and yes, a Star Wars themed crawl too. Here's exactly how I did it. LVGL is a GUI framework library that is lightweight and flexible and based on the MIT license. It's grown into the most widely used open source UI framework for embedded systems and well worth learning. I came across LVGL through the Waveshare displays that I've reviewed. Nearly all of them have ports of LVGL's library of various versions that you can use to make compelling touch interfaces. So with LVGL, we get graphics primitives and UI structures, the ability to actually put images and PNGs directly on the screen, layout options of how components and widgets will flow across the screen, and the ability to animate them, and an event system to control all this. My canvas for this video is an Interstate 75W, which is a Pimoroni board with an RP2350, 4 meg of flash, and an RM2 module if I want to get into Wi-Fi. And I'm driving two P2.5 panels from that, which are 128 by 64 pixels, and of course I've got them organized as a landscape screen. So of course we need to port LVGL to work on this display. That means we're going to be using the LVGL in the latest version I can get, which is version 9.5. I'm going to use Pimoroni's Pico library as well, but I'm only actually using the Hub75 driver from that, actually the Interstate 75 capability. I'm not going to use any of their graphics or other capabilities. And I'm going to use FreeRTOS kernel. The reason for that, it makes LVGL porting a little bit easier, and it gives me access to some Wi-Fi capabilities via LWIP that I wouldn't otherwise have. Now you can find all of my code for working with this and all of my examples over on GitHub in this repo, and the one I'm going to talk about first is LVGL RTOS. So I've got a couple of examples here playing with LVGL using this board. Now the first one I'm going to quickly talk around is LVGL RTOS. So what I'm basically going to use is the Interstate 75, which I've got a CMake file for the driver for there. I'm going to use LVGL. I'm going to give myself LWIP as well, though I'm not going to use it in this example, and FreeRTOS kernel. And when you use LVGL with FreeRTOS, you can actually play some nice little tricks, because LVGL needs to know the time, and we can allow it just to get that time in a standard way from FreeRTOS. So really the code here to do the clever tricks and make LVGL work on this Interstate 75 is all in this port folder and in the LVGL folder. And in there's a function called, or a program called lv port display.cpp, and that really does all of the work. So firstly, we're going to set up my display, and I've fixed it to 256 by 64 pixels, the landscape model that I'm using with this display with. And I'm going to create a couple of buffers, but those buffers are only actually 10% of the size of the display, because I don't need big buffers for the stuff I'm going to do. If you're starting to do full graphic animations across the whole screen, you might want to increase the size of those buffers. But then I'm going to initialize things, where I'm basically just going to create this display in LVGL. Actually, I'm going to start the hub first of all, like we did in my previous video. Then I'm going to actually create a display, and I'm just going to give it the buffers, and I'm going to give it a flush function. And the flush function is what is going to take the data and actually populate it on the screen. So we're taking the data in LVGL format, which means we've actually got that set up in 24-bit color in BGR format. So I'm going to go through every pixel that it's given me, grab the BG and R, and then I'm going to give those pixels to Hub75 to write them into the XY position. And that is it, and all I really should do. Now I might be able to make this faster by trying to make these two formats closer and to try and do some memory copies or use some DMA to do the copies of data from one buffer to the other. I haven't done that. This seems to be working fast enough for what I'm doing at the moment, so that's really all you need to do. And then you've got the full magic of LVGL. And the full magic of LVGL means that we can actually just go in and create stuff and draw stuff on this screen. So everything actually is created by this widgets class. And it's basically just going to create a few text styles for me and then draw two logos on the screen, or two text screens. So I'm going to put Dr. John EA in the top left corner of the screen, and I'm going to put a testing scroll message going across the center of the screen, and then I'm going to set up a timer, and that timer is basically just going to move the position of that text string so that it scrolls across the screen. Easy as that. This video is brought to you by WolfSSL and the lightweight SSL TLS library built for exactly the kind of hardware we're playing with today. When you're running a project on an RP2350 like this one, resources are tight, and WolfSSL is designed from the ground up for embedded systems. Small footprint, fast performance, and it supports all of the modern crypto standards you could actually want on a connected device. So if your next step after getting a cool display like this is pushing data to it over a network or securing a web endpoint on the Pico, WolfSSL is worth a look. They support a huge range of microcontrollers and RTOSes, and they've got a free download to get you started. Check them out at wolfssl.com, link in the description. Now, of course, we can make this a lot more complicated. So here in my Evolve 26 sign that I'm actually going to use, I'm doing a little bit more. So I've got a few graphics here. My BPI graphic, I've got a Empire, I've got RexB1 graphic, and I've defined all of those to be able to place those on the screen in a slightly more complicated screen orientation. And then I'm going through a bit of a process and jumping through that process to decide which text to scroll across the screen, when to jump out of the scrolls into a move the background up, when to make the graphics appear and, you know, the two droids, and then when to make things drop back down again so we go back to scrolling the text. So it's a bit of a process. But it's all of the same basics steps that I've already shown you. The images were pulled in using LVGL's own image converter. So I've decided to have a 888 format so that I can actually have images with blank background. I'm then picking up those images in low resolutions. I'm then actually going to just add them in here and ask this utility to convert them to C code for me, and it's downloaded a C file which I can just include in my project, and then I can use it exactly as they do in the LVGL examples to place that on the screen. LVGL has become one of those tools that just accelerates everything for me. Porting it to the new hardware is not hard, and the results speak for themselves. If you want to see the display live, come find me at Evolve 26 in Brighton and some of the other events I'm attending. That's the mission. Every subscription and every super thanks gets me one step closer to these events. My full LVGL playlist is in the description. Every port, every build. See you on the next one.